Welcome to Crimson Media Radio 007. We've made it to the lucky number, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very proud of this fact. Thank you for tuning in, everybody who has been watching every week, or even to those of you who have just joined in this week. Very happy to have you in one of the best spots for local music that you're going to find on the web. I am Sleeve, and this is my cat, Baby Edmund. He decided to tune in because he usually sleeps right where I'm sitting right now, but unfortunately I had to scooch him over to the couch. But just in case he has anything very interesting to mew, I have set up the microphone so he will have his chance to say his piece. So we'll see if that ever comes around. I would like to remind everybody once again, as I do every week, that if you'd like to check us out on Twitter, please do at Crimson Media ENT. And in case you're wondering why there's never a T at the end of Crimson Media Entertainment right about there, it's because I ran out of characters that I can possibly use in that kind of format. So it says Crimson Media Entertain, or Crimson Media Entertainment. And it is Crimson Media ENT, though, so check that out. And yeah, please add us. We'd love to get the Twitter sphere going just a little bit more. I know that Twitter is just a place for trolls most of the time. People who want to go and spew their political beliefs, people who like to go and trash talk using hashtags and whatnot. We're not about that right now. We are going to try and keep this real. We want to just spread music and have real talk about it. So yeah, that's the whole reason of Crimson Media Radio, and we're going to keep it that way. We're going to dive right into the local music. But of course, we always start every week off with the news. Now, I know this isn't so much the news, but I wanted to talk a little bit about a certain cultural phenomenon that's been happening recently, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. One of the things that's been very popular on Netflix, of course, is the series 13 Reasons Why. It is a book that's been popular with teenagers. Apparently, it's been touching a lot of hearts of Americans all across the world, all across the country. I almost said the world, Americans all across the world. So yeah, anyways, it's something that's really been capturing the nation, hopefully the world. And I have my own thoughts about it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a review on the show, but I also wanted to tell you a little bit about some controversy that's been stirred up because of it as well. And then we're going to talk about the second subject of the hour for the news, which is the fact that I met one of my heroes this weekend, and I'm very stoked to tell you all about it. It's really a big day for me. I couldn't believe that I was in the presence of somebody who I really consider to be an idol. There's only two people who I've met who I was this starstruck to meet. The other one was Marilyn Manson. I can't deny when I met Marilyn Manson, I was a little weak at the knees because, he was pretty much the most rebellious person throughout my childhood experience. So, yeah, that was great. But the other person who I met yesterday, who I'm really stoked to have met, is Chuck Palahniuk, the author of Fight Club, the author of Rant, the author of Lullaby, the author of Invisible Monsters, the author I could keep going and going. Survivor. He's written a lot of books that have really changed my life. He's really got one of the best and darkest tones in the authoring realm, and I found a little bit more out about his process when I went to the book festival yesterday. But not only did I find out more about his process by sitting on his panel, I actually got to talk to him, and he signed a copy of Fight Club 2 for me. Yeah, I'm very stoked about all of this. So we're going to talk about this in just a minute. But first, let's talk about the first story of the hour, which is the show 13 Reasons Why. Now, I was reading on the internet, according to NBC, that this show apparently is what some experts would say is glorifying suicide. Now, if you haven't actually seen the show, the whole premise of it is that a girl has killed herself, and she's left tapes behind for all her friends to kind of put together the pieces of why she killed herself. So it's 13 episodes long. They say that it's, I guess, I'm trying to do the math in my head right now. That's 7 tapes. I guess it'd have to be 7 tapes, and the 7th tape only has one side. That's it. All right. So, yes, there are 13 sides to the story. Each episode is a different story within this girl's life, and it's told through a tape that she's recorded to a guy who is trying to put together the pieces of why she did what she did. So it's a pretty tragic tale. I've been watching it recently. I haven't finished it yet. I'm on episode 9, so nobody say anything that's going to spoil it for you. What are my thoughts on it? Does it glorify suicide? Well, I'm going to talk about that topic altogether because one of the things that I absolutely hate in the authoring world, as far as media is concerned, is when they tone police things. They're like, oh, you know what, you shouldn't write about that because that's a bad subject to write about. It might be really traumatizing to some kids if you brought up some experiences that might mirror their own. Shut the fuck up. You are totally wrong about that. If I couldn't write about suicide, I would have nothing to write about. And I don't mean that because I'm just like totally suicidal. I mean that's because that's where art resides. Art is really like an expression of some of your darkest thoughts. And sometimes you have to get that off your chest. Sometimes you have to like indulge in art that speaks your language too. It's not triggering. It's not the kind of thing that's going to lead someone to kill themselves. If they read that kind of stuff, if anything, I think it would prevent them from killing themselves because they knew somebody else felt the same way that they did. That's what I thought about Marilyn Manson. That's what I thought about Kurt Cobain. That's what I thought about, Trent Reznor. There are a lot of people who really had like, that dark author thing where they sang about suicide, and they shouldn't be prevented from singing or talking or writing about that kind of stuff. Or else, where the hell are we going to get all our real art from? Now all of a sudden we have to take into consideration that our art might be offensive? No, of course not. That's the whole thing that art is supposed to be. It's supposed to challenge and provoke. So on that front, I think that they are totally wrong, and the fact that they're even telling you that they should, you should watch what you're saying when you're like writing what you feel is just pathetic. Shut up, NBC. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what? I'm just talking shit. I don't know who wrote this. Probably isn't like like a big NBC guy or anything like that. Just like a little schmuck who wrote the thing. But I hate how they're even saying that this isn't like their opinion. They're saying that what is it? The National Suicide Prevention place said that this is too triggering for certain suicidal teens. I don't know. I think they're giving teens a little bit too little credit in that department. They really need to like understand that kids are smarter than they even think that they are, and that they need to understand that like when they partake in art that helps them understand these thoughts a little bit better, then that's going to be much better. I mean, like they're saying that they're going to like think that they're all of a sudden going to be like the next Columbine or something. Dumb. Columbine happened because they thought that they could get famous off of that. Now, the whole thing about these kids is that they're going to read this and they're going to realize that there's nothing glamorous about like feeling the way that she was talking about. There's nothing glamorous about any of that. So, glorifying suicide, it's definitely not doing that. However, I have to talk about the other side of this because I don't want to just talk about the dark stuff. Sorry if I'm bumming anybody out about that. But, it's a kind of depressing series. But the thing about it is that it's also very melodramatic. There are several parts where I literally rolled my eyes watching this series. It seems like every single story that she has starts off with her making a brand new friend. She speaks her little sarcastic language with them. They have like their own little world. And then all of a sudden that friend just acts like a total asshole out of nowhere for no reason and just totally ruins her life consistently episode to episode. And then I just like by the first episode, I was like, oh my God, that's messed up. I can't believe they would do that to her. By episode like 5 or 6, I was just like, where the fuck do you find these people? And then eventually I started thinking, this shit doesn't happen. The part where the jock anyways, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a part where she gets pretty much like molested in front of like everybody. And not only does that happen, but a bunch of the person who molested her's friends are nearby in the diner, like watching it all happen, like, yeah. And I'm like, what? That doesn't happen. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I just have never like thought that was just like the kind of thing where it's like, like somebody who's running for class president would try and win by sitting down next to a girl and groping her in front of a diner full of people with everybody watching. I can't see that personally. You can go ahead and write me and tell me why I'm wrong about this, but honestly, I just didn't buy it. Sorry, not sorry. What can I say? So 13 Reasons Why. It's a pretty good show. I honestly like it. I think it's pretty deep. It has some good writing in it. It's got some good character interaction. But it's really melodramatic. It's really, really melodramatic. I want to love the girl. She's a sweetheart. She looks like, just like totally lovable scene to scene. But then just when everybody ruins her life for like no reason at all, you just have to wonder like, what kind of cruel person is doing this to her? It's just the author. No one else. So anyways, yeah, go check it out if you want, but I'm just going to warn you, you will roll your eyes in a few times when she gets betrayed time after time, because it's just like, come on. People are mean, but the world isn't that fucked up unless you write it that fucked up, which is the whole beauty of, authoring, I guess. All right, moving on. Kind of went on a tangent about 13 Reasons Why, but I've been watching it and I've been wanting to get that off my chest forever. And now we're going to move on to the second part, which is the part that's very important to me, of course. The part that's important for this one is that Chuck Palahniuk was at the LA Book Festival of Books yesterday. It was for the Los Angeles Times, and he did an entire forum, which was just amazing. I mean, he talked about his writing process. He was able to talk about, like certain things that inspired Fight Club. I guess he wrote a short story called Escort, which originally was about him like escorting people to groups that were like therapy groups, and eventually, they started, he found out what each person was dying of, what each person was going to their groups for, and since he showed up with them to each one of these groups, they thought that he was dying too. And so originally that whole part of Fight Club was a real part of his life, and he wrote a short story about it, which eventually went on to become Fight Club. Pretty interesting stuff. But what was very interesting is when he came onto the stage, he gave everybody stuffed animals. Not everybody, I mean like a handful of people, like a half a dozen people, maybe a dozen people, all got stuffed animals. It was ridiculous. And we got ourselves a stuffed woodchuck or hedgehog or something like that. He gave it to us. We literally have a stuffed animal that Chuck Palahniuk gave us. I was flabbergasted and starstruck beyond belief. But as if that day couldn't get any better, then Chuck Palahniuk actually was taking questions from the audience, and I got chosen to ask him a question. Hallelujah! So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up so that you guys can see what it was like to talk to Chuck Palahniuk. Here's the video clip right here. Hello, Chuck. First and foremost, thank you for the hedgehog that you so generously gave us. It's going to go on to be known as Chuck in our household. One of my favorite books by you, and I know we're going to be talking about a lot of your inspiration because some of it is, a very big question mark in my head anyways. I like the book Survivor because it totally changed the way that I looked at the media from that point on. Every time I saw an expert on TV, I was assuming that maybe they had a team of experts who put a tie and a spray tan on them and got them out to talk about whatever given subject. I have to ask, was that based on a real scenario that you saw behind the scenes in the media industry, or you just saw something that was just so produced, so fake that you had to write about it?
Yeah, once you've been through that media machine, Survivor, it ruins all the media for you.
Right.
And when I went through with Fight Club, I would sit in these television green rooms, and you would meet people either on the way up or the way down. So I'd be sitting there with people like Eddie Fisher, who were, at the end of his life, who had written a memoir. Or once I was with the Fast and the Furious man, Paul Walker. I was with him in San Francisco waiting to do a daytime television show, and the producers gave him this list of questions for him to review. These are your on-air questions.
Sure.
And he was so furious. He had a red pen, and he goes, "Don't ask me this, don't ask me this, do not ask me this, do not ask me this." And then he gets to the last question, and his head just snaps up like The Exorcist. And it's the last question, and he goes, "And if you ask me how it fucking feels to be this good looking, I will walk off the set." They're all scribbled out. And then it's like, "You're on." I'm watching on the monitor, and the on-air people get this. There's no questions. And they sit there in this pained silence with him. Bring it on. And they're like, "So we understand you're an actor?" And they had to fake it through a 7-minute segment. Ouch. But once you're inside that ugly media thing, you see how fake and horrible it is, and how you're expected to extrude this enormous amount of energy and meet their big fake energy.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's heartbreaking.
Thank you very much.
A lot of
That's
Survivor.
very enlightening. Oh, boy. That was a cool experience right there. I can't believe that I was just sitting in a room with my hero, Chuck Palahniuk. I mean, really, like when it comes down to like authoring style, as far as, like one of the big like tone changers for like my own art, it was watching Fight Club for the first time and then reading the novel for the first time and then subsequently reading like all of his books from that point on. Chuck Palahniuk is a hell of a storyteller, and it's obvious right there when you're watching that he is clearly a heavy hitter in telling both comedic and humorous anecdotes as well. So that was really great. That was really like a life-making experience. Thank you to Chuck Palahniuk for enlightening me on these subjects. And also, I wanted to show you one last thing because this is really, really important to me as well. After the talk, the speech, the talk, whatever it is, we got to go outside and we had to wait a little bit, but fortunately, because he came out for a little bit of water, a little bit of food, we bumped into him. Here's the picture of it right here. Guess the sound goes off in that part, but yeah, that's me shaking his hand right there. And then he ultimately went on to sign a copy of Fight Club 2, and let me pull that up really quick right here. He also went ahead and boom, to sleeve, "You Are Not Special," Chuck Palahniuk. Life doesn't get much better than this, especially for me. So that's the story of Chuck Palahniuk. I'm really, really stoked about that. Can't believe that happened. And thank you to Chuck for taking my question, signing my book, and being such a cool guy, hanging out and talking with me after the event. It was a really, really cool experience. And yeah, what can I say? You meet your idols, and life doesn't suck anymore after that. They say that, that you peak too soon in situations like that. They're wrong. That's bullshit. I'm a better man for that. I'll say that. All right, now we're going to get on to the music section. I had to talk about the Chuck Palahniuk story, so you guys are going to have to forgive me for that little anecdote, but we are going to move on with the music selections here. The first song comes from a gentleman named Nitish. He sent me a pop song recently, and it's a really great one. He's been a really cool guy in all of our interactions. He was asking about the radio show. So, here's your song, dude. Hope you like it. This is his song. Let's see, this one... They always like put the song names in the YouTube format, and then it cuts off is the problem. I swear, why do people think that you always want to like look at like only part of a song name? That makes no sense. It'll say like Nitish. I don't know what the rest of the song name is called. Come on, give us more characters than like 10. This is things get deeper than that. Well, anyways, you know what? I'm wasting time looking for the song name right here anyways. Oh, wait. No, I'm not. Here we go. The song is called I Don't Know What I... Nope, that's the lyrics of the song. All right, you know what? Fuck my life. We're just going to continue to play the song. This is Nitish right here, and then we're going to continue on to the Short Necked Giraffes interview on the second hour. Like we said, it's a great interview. Hope you guys are going to stick around for it. They were really, really great to talk to, by the way. But let's play the first submission here. This is Nitish right here on Crimson Media Radio.
I wanna be your last. I don't know what is happening. I'm walking straight, but my head is spinning. Never felt like this before. What I'm feeling, I guess all the reason for all these things. Girl, it's my first time that I've fallen in love, and I sure do wanna give you my whole world. Being someone's first love, it feels so good, but there's something that I wanna say to you. I wanna be your last love. I wanna be your last. I wanna be your last. I wanna be your last. I
Woo! That was Natish. I Want to Be Your Last. I finally found the title of it. Sorry about that, dude. I was really digging in there. But like I said, when they sample the song name, when you put a YouTube song in an email, for example, it really doesn't show you enough of the song, so you don't get to even know like what the hell they're saying. And you do sometimes miss the title. You know, you miss all the important stuff. It's really kind of frustrating. But thank you for sending that song, and hopefully we'll be able to play some more tracks by you. So send me some more tracks. I'd love to play them. How does everybody get their production so tight nowadays? I swear there's like all these like music production tools and songs that they're just able to like put out there, like that they put in their own home studio. It's ridiculous, especially with pop music nowadays, because you know there's a lot of loops that are out there. They're royalty free. There's a lot of different instruments. I got, you know, like my keyboard right here for my native instruments. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to make some great sound out there right in your bedroom. So that's definitely cool. As far as acoustic instruments, you know, generally you still need a decent sound space for those kinds of things. Don't forget that. But, you know, you can do some really, really decent music with some really great production right at home. One of the most awesome things about the music scene today. And also, you know, being able to broadcast right at home like I'm doing right now. Once again, I'm Sleeve, and this is Crimson Media Radio. We are playing local music all night. Tonight, we're going to be doing our focus on the Necked Giraffes coming up here in about a half hour. But we wanted to start off with our featured artist, Nitish, who sent us that track, I Want to Be Your Last. And then we got some other great artists coming up as well. But we wanted to talk this week about the subject of tone policing, because I thought that was really pertinent topic when we're talking about creating art. Now, I was reading an article that talked about 13 Reasons Why and how it was harmful to the teen psyche and blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't mean to sound dismissive, because I do think suicide is a big issue. But the thing is, I hate it when people tell you what you can and can't write about. You know, that's just something that's like totally unacceptable to me, because people, you know, they create art for all different reasons. You know, some of them do it to work out feelings that are, you know, harmful or painful to them. Sometimes they do it to be able to express the joy that they're feeling. Sometimes it's to express the longing. You know, music is a very complicated art, and there's a lot of different feelings that go in with it. So when people start telling you what you can and can't say, and what you can and can't feel, or what you can and can't put down on track, it really disturbs me. Mostly just because it's just, you know, where is the real art going to come from if we can't write about stuff that's too painful because it's too visceral and real? You know what I mean? Back in the day, I was a big video game player, and video games were really kind of like taking it in the shorts at the time. The reason why is because video games were really becoming kind of like a violent art for a little while. If you were a kid like me, you were obsessed with games like Doom, and you know what? I didn't go on to be a violent murderer because I got obsessed with Doom. I liked Doom just because it was a game where you got to blast, like, you know, demons and zombies and creatures and stuff. I mean, it was really like an interesting time, and video games were really taking it in the shorts, and so was music eventually. But I think that one of the games that really summed it up for me right there was this game called Time Killers. Now, if you want to know like games that were really like taking it in the shorts back then, let me show you a clip of this one game right here that was just in arcades. I literally saw this game at Knott's Berry Farm when I was a kid. This game is called Time Killers, and this is a prime example of the things that they were trying to censor when I was a kid. Let me play this really quick. oh, they're gonna do it to this guy too. Oh yeah, he doesn't get spared. Oh, this one's gonna be good. Oh! Slice. Yeah, you get the point. All right. So my point is that there was some pretty offensive shit back in the day. Time Killers was definitely the game that shocked me, because it was just a game where you're slicing off limbs and heads and stuff like that, and it was just a game that was just hanging out in the family-friendly, you know, Knott's Berry Farm. So I'm not saying that there weren't questions to be had about what art is acceptable and which ones weren't in what sphere, but what I had a big problem with was what kind of art you should be able to create, period. Now, if you're going to say that we shouldn't be able to put a game like Time Killers in a family-friendly spot like, you know, Universal or, you know, Knott's Berry Farm, I'd be inclined to agree with you. I'd say little kids, you know, maybe shouldn't be around, like, you know, decapitations and arm slicings and, you know, heads on spikes that are just, like, in the background. But when it comes to music, saying, fuck you, fuck this, fucking, you know, like, whatever, motherfucker, bitch. whatever gets you a parental advisory sticker these days, like that kind of stuff. It was really like a big question back in the day. Now, there was this one senator, Joseph Lieberman, who was dead set against censoring music back in the day. Joseph Lieberman was one of the guys who went out and said things like Marilyn Manson was like the downfall of the children of America. He was really like one of the big guys against the censorship of music. He was like one of the guys who tried to just get music to be censored. He thought that like kids couldn't handle it. Can't find a clip of that, unfortunately. That's too bad, because he had a clip where he said that they were pretty much the sickest group to ever be released by a mainstream record company. And he worked to start fighting this kind of stuff. So did politicians like Hillary Clinton. Back in the day, it wasn't just the Republicans on the right who were like trying to censor things because they were religious. It was also Democrats who were trying to say things like family values and blah, 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 blah. So it really was like a fight to keep art pure back in the day. And nowadays, we kind of take for granted that we can go ahead and slap a rated M on anything and then we can release anything. Or we can just put, back in the day we had the parental advisory stickers to steer you away from harmful material. But really, when it comes down to it, we still need to worry about people who think that art is bad and that art needs to be censored. Because nowadays there's a brand new threat. It kind of comes in the guise of like, oh, that's going to be triggering. That's going to be, not the kind of thing that, it's going to be hate speech, blah, blah, blah. They're going to start labeling it in other ways. And honestly, if you're going to start labeling art in any way and trying to tell people that they need to, censor what they say, to tone police what they're saying, I'm totally against it. I'll always be totally against it. We'll go on with some more examples of that in just a little bit here, because it's a very interesting subject, definitely. Although it looks like my kitty is getting even more comfortable in his nap time over it. Let me try and move this just a little bit. Oh, look at that little face covered by the microphone. He's so cute. So the whole point is kittens. Yeah, the cats, totally passed out by the subject, so we're going to play some more exciting music, and we're going to keep on moving with the artist that has submitted it. So here's the second track that I got. This one is actually from a band called the Queen Mary's Revenge. There we go. And they are a very great band, actually. They had some really heavy stuff, some really fun riffs, some great turn-ups with the instruments. So let me go ahead and play that. They submitted it a little while ago. Thank you for writing me, by the way, guys. Really appreciate it. This song right here is called The Death of Former Lovers. And it's a really great track. We're going to keep that playing, and then we're going to keep on talking about the censorship of art throughout the years. Right here on Crimson Media, getting on to the Short Necked Giraffes on the second hour here at 7 o'clock. Here on Crimson Media Radio.
Everyone is hanging all over the place, slowly while decaying. Shovel the pictures in your face, and the food is in a frame, hanging on the wall. And then she calls, since the day she out, one thing was spin every bad cast. sharp as knife is hit as it does the right way. A cherry bag today bleeds just like it did in yesterday.
That was Queen Mary's Revenge right here on Crimson Media Radio. That is a cool track and a very weird image. If anybody wants to tell me the story about that, if you're in the band and you can write me, please do. Also tell me what the hell is your link on Facebook, because I could not find you guys at all. You guys had written me individually, but I could not find the page. And if I can't find your music, and trust me, I look like hell for every band that writes me. So if I can't find your music, that's a big thing, guys. You need to get on that. You need to make sure that your music's more accessible, because honestly, if it's not, what the hell are you doing? Anyways, we're going to continue on with the subject of censorship throughout the years in music, because once again, that's a very, very interesting subject. I bet you some of you didn't know this. Remember those parental advisory stickers that you used to see on all those records that you wanted to buy back in the day? Yeah, you know which ones I'm talking about. The parental advisory stickers are really like one of the coolest things back in the day for music, because when you saw that on a record, you knew that the record that you were about to be purchasing was going to piss your parents off to no end. Let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. Yeah, that's the one right there. If you saw one of those, you knew you were listening to a badass record. Parental advisory stickers actually were not put on by any specific agency. You got to put that on your own records back in the 90s. Now, why would that be something that you'd want to slap on your records? Well, as mentioned, if you are the type of kid who likes to listen to rebellious shithead music, like a lot of us were back in the day, then this is the coolest thing that you could possibly see on a record. If you saw this on a record, you pretty much knew that that record was going to be the business. Now, records back in the day were really like starting to take it in the short, they were really starting to take like, lots of hits from Democrats, conservatives, people on the right were saying that it's offensive religiously. People on the left were saying that it's also, like a threat to our children. People were always talking about how we need to prevent the next Columbine, blah, 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 blah. And, they were really blaming art for a lot of the ways that people were feeling. Unironically, not looking at the behavior of politicians, the media. They never even tried to turn that scope inward on themselves. They were just like, no, it's other people who are on TV who are the problem. And it's perfect how that always works out for them. So yeah, they always tried to make it like, it's not us, it's other people in the media industry, and we need to censor that kind of stuff because we don't want more Columbines to happen. Marilyn Manson definitely took it the hardest in this. Marilyn Manson actually was pretty much blamed single-handedly alongside with games like Doom for causing Columbine. And, he made an entire album about that. If you listen to his album Hollywood, it's largely about Columbine, believe it or don't. So it's really a deep subject because, he was wrestling with people who were literally trying to tear his voice out. That's why on the cover of the record, he has no jaw on it. Let me see if I can find that actually. The cover to Hollywood. No, not Hollywood, guys. Hollywood, Marilyn Manson. I need to get one of those guys that Joe Rogan has, the guy who can pull that shit up. All right, here we go. So this was the record cover back in the day, and it's very, very offensive. You can see that Marilyn Manson doesn't have a jaw right around this region because it's been taken away from him, and he's also crucified like Jesus. You can obviously take away the symbolism from that. But the whole point is that he was feeling censored and that, people were taking away his ability to even talk about certain subjects. So, that was what inspired that record. So sometimes when big censorious efforts come at you, it inspires even better art, and in his case it clearly did. So that fight continued on for a little while. Eventually, parental advisory stickers weren't quite as detrimental as they once were. In fact, people started embracing them because, like I said, people loved the fact that, they were offensive enough to warrant that sticker. And, controversy was selling back in the day. That's one of the things I loved about the 90s anyways, and I don't mean to sound like an old man. Back in my day, back in the 90s, real music. No, nothing like that. What I'm saying is that back in the 90s, at least, though, there really was like this avant-garde kind of thing where it's like, they're writing about heroin, suicide, darkness. It's like a different time for music, whereas the 80s was largely pink and loud and cocaine fueled, and it all looked like the inside of a Chuck E. Cheese arcade, pretty much. It was a very interesting time in the 80s, and the 90s totally took that to a different direction. And when they did take that to a different direction, it was no longer even like happy drug use, it was like depressing drug use. Suddenly they were like, oh, we need to sanitize this, and thus the culture war began to start keeping teens from being depressed by trying to take away the music that made them feel better. It's a very weird way how that ended up working out. And things really did start changing from that point on. One of the things I always say is that at least there were outlets for teens to have like dark, art. There was, for example, my personal crush for life, which is Winona Ryder. She was the dark queen of the 80s. She was in lots of movies where she was like a dark little depressed princess, and there was a place for that. If we've ever seen movies like Heathers, there was definitely like a darker movie, and it was about feeling alienated in high school. They didn't have the guts to make things like that today until, things like 13 Reasons Why. But there really was like this whole thing about, there was a place for darkness, for mopey feelings. There was a place for like that depressed teen, and it all got sanitized after Columbine, I feel. After that happened and they started blaming out the culture for, poisoning the minds of children, things definitely started changing for the worse, I feel. So it's kind of sad that all went that way. But the good news is that, finally, like, we're starting to be able to say what we want again. We're starting to, be able to use our voice to the point where there's a new movement that's trying to censor all of the things that we're saying. I've always talked about this, the new movement to keep things politically correct, to make sure that things don't fall under their definition of hate speech, and the movement to try and silence voices and opinions that they just don't care for. And then they try and say, oh, we're just trying to protect people when we do that. It's bullshit. If you're ever trying to silence somebody, you're just insecure about your own opinions, okay? That's the long and the short of it. We're going to get onto that next, but first and last and last most, more like it, trademarking, last and last mostly, we have one last band who wrote us. They are a really great band called Druid Magic. I've been listening to them quite a bit, but I couldn't figure out any place to download them, so I'm going to take you to their Reverb Nation page right here. And on Reverb Nation, we're going to go ahead and play their track. It's really, really great. This one's called Something in the Wind, and we also have one called Road Less Traveled. So which one am I going to play? I think Road Less Traveled was the one I liked a little bit more. I like both of them, by the way, guys, so don't worry. Oh, look at that. I got two kitties here. Hey, Alexander, what are you doing? Hey, Kit. You want to come and help me host the show? This is my other cat, Alexander, right here. All right, my kitty's going to help me finish the show here. Alexander, do you want to tell him about Druid Magic? No? All right, so we're going to keep on going here. I swear, sometimes you just need to have fun in the studio. That's all that it takes. We are going to continue on with Druid Magic right here on Crimson Media Radio. Check it out.
From the darkness that unfolds around me, I look for a passage to escape from this plight, seeking sanctuary, but knowing I must fight on this road that I never should have been. In this place that I'll never go again, out of the darkness into the light of day. The road less traveled is the path I will take, giving me the answers to the choices I must make. On this road that I never should have been, in this place that I'll never go again, go again. Waiting and watching till the light of day. When day turns to evening and evening turns to night, out come the demons that take away the light. On this road that I never should have been, in this place that I'll never go again. The road less traveled is the place I have to go. The road less traveled, it is all I need to know, all I know.
No, I don't need to listen to the whole catalog right now. Although it is good. It is good. That was Druid Magic, and that is a very gypsy tune that you guys have played. I love it. The whole album actually is really, really good. So check it out from start to finish. It's really, truly excellent. All the stuff on Reverb Nation. Yeah, it's really good. So check it out. And yeah, we're going to keep on trucking here. Coming up next is the Short Necked Giraffes interview. So if that's the main event that you guys have come for, don't worry. It is coming up in 10 minutes here. But we just wanted to finish up on the history of censorship in music just for a little bit because, you know, it's a fascinating subject, one that doesn't really get talked about very much. I'm not going to talk too much about like the old school, like the 50s and, you know, segregation and stuff like that. It's kind of a touchy subject, but it really is like, you know, one of the reasons why music and censorship and controversy have really been like, so music has been like, you know, at the center of controversy. Really it was starting with like segregation and the types of music that everybody was listening to. They were like, oh, okay, well, that's white music, that's black music, you know, things like that. And eventually, like, the music was attitude defined just by that. I swear my kittens are gonna distract me with everything. Yeah, they're very cute, I swear. And they keep me lots of company in the studio. You can see them right back there. But yeah, you know, and so that kind of thing is why music always has like controversy surrounding it. It definitely had started in a controversial subject, especially rock and roll. But one of the things that has happened is, you know, like after the big defeat on the arts, as I like to call it, back in 1990s, after they tried to censor music, one of the things that happened that I think is really important is that we started creating again. again. Some people really did start making like, the types of stuff that they didn't want people to say. And nowadays, like with like I said, art like 13 Reasons Why, they're starting to tell people again, oh, they're starting to tone police it again. Oh, that's going to be triggering to some. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't talk about that. And then, like I said, there are a lot of people who say that art deserves trigger warnings. Which honestly, I make fun of that subject a lot, but something I think is that sometimes you should maybe let people know if they have had a traumatic experience that this art does have depictions which you may find troubling. Especially if it's like rape depictions or something like that. There really is some reason to believe that you should get somebody prepared for what they're about to see, because sometimes art isn't pretty, that's for sure. So that's the thing about art. That's the thing about trigger warnings. As far as safe spaces, as far as just taking art out of a place, that's something I'm a little bit less for, because I think that one of the things is saying that we need to all be inclusive, we all need to be together. That includes people you don't like, and that includes people that are different from you. So you can't just create a space where you can avoid the people who aren't like you. I mean, that really goes against the whole feeling of inclusion to me, and that's going to be less that's going to be a bigger problem down the line, especially if you're going to tell people that they can't speak or just shut down their voice entirely. It's a big deal really in today's society. So trigger warnings, safe spaces, a little bit more for trigger warnings, a little bit less for safe spaces. Not the best thing in art. And then what I'm totally against is the fact that on campuses right now, they are just straight up censoring points of view, artists, that they are even slightly away from the hardcore left belief that they generally hold with. And I don't mean to turn this into a left versus right thing, but campuses generally do appeal a little bit more towards left-leaning people, and that's because there's it's kind of intellectual people who are left to say they care, they're intellectual, blah blah blah. So campuses get kind of dominated by that kind of mentality, and then the problem is that they hear a point of view that they don't like, and suddenly they feel like they need to shut it down. And so a lot of artists that don't even espouse a hardcore left or right position, if they're even sort of different from them, then they start saying, oh, okay, well, we can't have that, that's a hateful point of view. And that's something I'm totally against 100%. We need to have as many points of view as we can, and we need to fight down the bad ideas with good ideas, is what I've always said. If you think someone's art sucks, you think someone's point of view sucks, then create a better one. Just go ahead and make something that will be more symbolic of you. Don't tell everybody else how they should be. Go ahead and be the change you wish to be in the world, or whatever that one famous saying was. I believe that was by the Dalai Lama. I'm being very disrespectful right now. Oh boy, this is going, I don't want to go and speak ill of people like that, so I'm going to continue on with the Short Necked Giraffes interview here. It also looks like my cats want to get out right now. They are both staring at the door, wondering why I locked them in. I told them that this was going to happen if they try and hang out with me during the radio show, but they don't listen to that, probably because they don't speak English. So let me go ahead and let them out, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the Short Necked Giraffes interview right here. This was a really fun talk. We got to talk about beer, brew houses. They also have a show coming up on Cinco de Mayo, which we're going to talk about several times, but that's really easy to remember. Cinco de Mayo is at the Rebel Brew House, I believe is what it's called, but you'll hear the official name coming up in the interview. And trust me, you're going to want to go to that. I'm probably going to be down there because it's always fun to drink, it's always fun to have tacos, and it's always fun to have an IPA. So yeah, we're going to go down there. We're also going to talk about a few other brew houses that they played shows at. They played a few shows apparently at Hangar 24, which is a place that I have gotten blackout drunk at a few times in the Inland Empire. It was a local brew house where they had really good beer. You probably had a Hangar 24 once or twice in your life if you like to go out drinking, but they also play shows there now, and apparently they played a few shows there as well. So we're going to continue on. We're going to go ahead and get started with the Short Necked Giraffes interview, and hopefully you guys like it. It also includes a few samples from some of their work. It's really good, I promise you. And we're going to hear a few bits of their upcoming album, which, trust me, you're going to want to check out when it gets there. They even have a copy of the physical album with them, so you can see what it looks like. It's really, really cool. I believe, what's the album called? Half a Six Pack? So that's, it's going to be a good one. Definitely something to, definitely a tune to drink to, definitely something to have a good time to, and you're going to love it, I promise. So let's get started. Here is the Short Necked Giraffes interview right here on Crimson Media Radio. Tuning in. And we are back on Crimson Media Radio talking to the band, the Short-Necked Giraffes. What's up, guys?
Hey, that's us. That's us.
That's you guys. That's you guys. Is that where you guys practice most of the time?
No, this is where our drummer practices. This is his place.
This is our second moon base.
Yeah,
we're familiar with our first moon base
too.
Okay, gotcha. That's very important, by the way. You got to set the mood, obviously. I was just wondering what kind of space a band like you practices in, because obviously you need a lot of space to do a ska band, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, definitely not here.
Yeah.
Of us on a good day. So, yeah, we usually rent a space much bigger than the little closets that we're able to afford on a ska budget.
Right. Do you guys, what are the good places to jam in Rancho Cucamonga? It's been a while since I've rented a lockout in that region, shall we say.
Well, our favorite place is Rad Pro Studios, which is actually in Ontario.
Okay.
And the main reason we first started going there is because it's 24/7. And because of all of our schedules, like the only time we can rehearse is like in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's dedication, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that shit.
Yeah, we do. On a good day, it's 10 to 1. On a bad day, it's 12 to 2:30.
And do you guys have jobs in school you go right back to the next day, I would imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much. You know, we got to eat.
Yeah, you got to eat occasionally, although I guess they do have vending machines on the property most of the time. Yeah, so you guys rent some space down there in Ontario. What was the spot called? I just want to make sure that we plug it so everybody knows of the good spots in Ontario anyways.
Yeah, Rad Pro Studios.
Rad Pro?
That's it.
Like rad and then like professional?
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Rad Pro. Check it out, guys. In Ontario, apparently it's a pretty sweet spot to play. We're going to be diving into the ska scene because that's definitely something that I used to love as a child, or I don't know, teenage years. You know, I loved bands like Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake. I think Real Big Fish was my favorite, and that's why I think I loved you guys so much. Especially, you know, I also like the Aquabats. I loved, like, you know, the whole, like, fighting villains thing that they did on stage and things like that. That's what ska gets to do, is be really colorful and a really, like, you know, fun show. So, how did you guys get this act together with the Short-Necked Giraffes? Whose idea was this, anyways?
Well, Ben is the only, like, original member from, like, the conception of the band, so...
Respect! Respect, Ben!
Started as a terrible pop punk band.
Okay, you know.
Then we lost the worst member. We're all in some talented people. We got Mario now.
Okay, cool.
Then we got rid of the lead singer. Mario took over vocals as soon as we decided we were going to be ska. He came back on board.
Sure. You saw the ties and were like, I'm on that.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can't burn colored ties.
Of course not. I try to keep a few in my collection, although I don't think that I have any that are quite as colorful as yours, my friend.
Oh yeah.
So you guys started as a pop punk band, and what kind of stuff were you guys playing then? I mean, did you guys like, you know, what was your favorite bands or inspirations for the original sound of the band?
Originally, it was kind of like Green Day, Blink-182, you know, Finger a little bit, some NoFX influence.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Real like Warped Tour kind of feel. I'm getting.
Exactly, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then you guys got some of the new members in, and then there was a push to turn ska, apparently.
Yeah, we started kind of doing, because our old singer played a little trumpet, and so we started doing some kind of crossover like punk ska stuff. And then when we decided to go on full ska, you know, all out, that's where this guy came in, Mr. Corey.
Yeah, so I'm the
out of the skazlet. I'm trying to make that one work. Out of the closet, but for ska, basically. I get it. You get it. Yeah. Yes. Oh, go ahead.
So I was the first horn that they added. They basically had 2 songs that had a trumpet in it. So they would play a 30 or 45 minute set, and I'd play 6 minutes of that set, and the rest of the time just kind of dance around.
And that's what's great about the trumpet guys, is they get to be the hype men throughout the entire show.
Basically, yeah. I was the Flava Flav of the ska.
No giant clock, though, I'm imagining.
No, just this crazy psychedelic Mickey Mouse tie that I've had for years now.
Well, that probably looks pretty cool for a lot of the drunk people in the audience too, I would imagine. So you guys started playing, you started playing some ska down there, and then you guys started getting some tunes together. How long do you think it took you guys before you were ready to start playing your first shows?
I mean, as a ska band, pretty much we threw them in like baptizing by fire. I think we had a gig lined up, and we were like, "Hey man, you want to play with us? Like, we got a couple songs."
Yeah, it was like
And then,
a week after they asked me, I was playing basically a show.
yeah.
And
So we kind of, as we wrote ska songs, we kind of phased out the old punk stuff. So there was kind of a period of time where it was like mixed.
right.
Then we finally like filled out the horn section. With some of our friends from Cal State San Bernardino.
Oh, okay, cool. That's where I actually graduated from.
Oh, hey, me too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hey, you know what I mean?
With me, and then my brother played trombone, so then we added him on, and then we just kind of kept inviting people, and they kept staying.
Yeah, and eventually it became a band. That's awesome. And then you guys, you just threw him into a live show, huh? That was his test to be in the band. That's a good one, by the way.
Yeah.
Stands on stage and all.
Yeah. I remember when the TV show Rockstar Supernova was on. It was that reality TV show where they were trying out like somebody for Tommy Lee's new band, and they did the same thing. They're just like, all right, you 10 guys who want to be in my band, we're in the studio right now. Here's some lyrics. You guys are gonna sing them right now. And they were all like, that's what we're gonna do? That's what it's like to be a musician? No. You guys need to pick your instrument up and play right away. That's the trial by fire. I respect that shit, honestly.
Right.
How did he do, by the way? I'm just curious.
Very good, I think. I don't know. I was pretty drunk, I think.
Yeah.
If it was a Guitar Hero score, what would you give him?
Well, since my guitar was on the ground at some point, I'd give him a 10.
Well, you know what? I don't even know too much about playing horns, honestly. The thing about horns is that you have to have a lot of breath to, get through, like, these entire sections, and you're also jumping around on stage and stuff. It's just, like, such a winding experience is the best adjective that comes to my mind. I mean, how do you cope with all that?
Yeah, well, it's a lot of cardio.
It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen, getting up at the crack at noon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a free gym membership.
Yeah, just the more energy you can put into it, the more fun it is. So you just kind of have to do it.
Right. You just go big with it every time.
Yeah, I mean, you play as loud and as fast as you can, and then you dance around as much as you can, and you try and make it look like you all plan to do what you're doing. And that's pretty much the secret right there.
That's the secret sauce right there, ladies and gentlemen. Steal it, use it, make it your own. Yeah, so one of the things I was also curious about with you guys, you guys have done the Ghostbusters theme, obviously, but that seems like that was like, one of your like later works, and it had like an amazing music video, and I'm going to get into that in just a little bit. But, you guys had also some pretty humble roots. It looked like you had like some pretty simple, like, still ska, punk rock songs with the good circle pit parts and stuff like that. When you guys were first like writing it, did you guys have any trouble like defining the new ska sound, or was it pretty seamless just right over from punk rock?
I think it was pretty seamless. I mean,
there's definitely some of our ska songs that are more punk, and then there's some of our ska songs that are more ska. And I think the later songs were more just pure ska. The earlier stuff was kind of a cross between the two because we were still trying to figure out who we were.
Right. And, you guys, I'm imagining the lyrical content, like, lends itself to, like, both ways. It's easy to, like, write punk songs, and it's probably easy to write ska songs in that same regard, because the song structures are very similar. But one of the things I was also thinking is, do you have, like, trouble, like, do you put, like, more comedic elements into your ska stuff because it's, like, more fun, it lends itself a little bit more humor, it's more colorful, like, what kind of songwriting lended itself to, like, the humor of the ska genre?
I think the comedy definitely just kind of naturally lends itself to the ska songs. Because we had songs back from that we had written when we were still a punk band that we kind of turned into ska songs.
Yeah.
Once we made the switch, that we revisited and we're like, hey, this could totally work if we change it up a little bit. So some of those might be less fun, but a little, I guess, maybe a little more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the ska stuff, I mean, we just start like jamming out on some simple ska chords, like just funny lyrics come to mind, I guess, you know?
Yeah, you just want to write like a joke song every time. At least I personally do. Yeah, and then you guys started writing. I imagine that you guys also wrote some serious stuff. But honestly, like, what do you think is the goofiest thing that the Short Necked Giraffes have ever put out so far to date?
Say Mud Hippie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Mud Hippie for sure.
And we're gonna listen to a clip of that in just a little bit. Actually, that's probably a pretty good segue right there. But I don't want to. We'll get to that in just a sec. Yeah, but so yeah, the lyrics to that one were definitely interesting.
Yeah, so that one's got a funny story because it seems like it's totally made up, but it's like totally based on real stuff.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I was afraid of that.
Yeah, to an extent. It's kind of written about our old singer who quit the band to, move up to San Francisco.
Sure.
And so you kind of hear those lyrics in there, and he kind of sort of became a hippie.
Was that the same member of the band that didn't go on the Appalachian Trail after all?
Yes.
Hey, he was on it for a week. Hardcore.
How do you do the Appalachian Trail for a week?
You don't.
Like 3 days up and then 3 days down?
You start walking, and then you realize that you're not as much a hippie as you thought you were.
Your spiritual guidance was absent in that Appalachian. That's amazing. Yeah, so you lost. Wow, that's amazing. You lost a singer to the Appalachians, and then the other one moved to San Francisco and became the Mud Baby, huh?
It's actually the same
That's
guy.
actually the same guy.
That's the same guy. Jesus. What's going on with hippies these days? Yeah, so he got up on the Appalachian there, and he left the band, and he inspired the song Mud Baby, which we're going to play at least a portion of in just a little bit. But then on the converse side of that, you guys have probably also had to write some, like really heartfelt shit too. And, like what do you think is one of the more serious songs you guys are working on or that you put out so far?
Probably going to say That's Me, which is not, we played it a couple times live, but we still, it's kind of one of the most difficult songs, I think, for us, especially the horn section.
Yeah. So it's technically difficult, you mean?
Yeah.
Tiring.
Yeah.
And also because all of us have jobs that we get real money for.
Sure. Real money is nice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, Monopoly money. It's the best.
That's the song that we want to play the most, but we haven't had as much time to put into it to like really polish it up. So we're hoping to have that coming out real soon.
Okay, cool. So that one hasn't been released yet.
Yeah, that one's probably in a couple shows. We'll pull it out.
Okay. Cool.
Serious songs that kind of came from a sort of pop punk. Started out kind of like that, and we molded it and kind of changed it up to make it more ska. That's a little deeper. It's more, I guess, personal. I wrote all the lyrics to that.
Right.
Kind of personal, life kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's not based on the Appalachians this time, I would imagine.
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's great. You guys really have like a diversity of range is more like the point that I'm trying to illustrate, because when you're like, writing songs, it's not easy to like keep up a consistent sound. It's not easy to keep up like a consistent brand, especially when you're writing on like both the serious and the funny end, or just even like the dark and the light end. You can do a lot of stuff with the genre as the points, and sometimes artists struggle with finding their artistic identity. But I don't think that you guys have really it doesn't seem like that's the case with you guys. You guys just have already had like a clear, defined vision of what you wanted to do with the Short Necked Giraffes.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of stuff just kind of comes out, I mean, we've tried to kind of sit down and let's write a song like this, but every time we do that, it sort of kind of just doesn't turn out good or doesn't really, like become anything.
Yeah, it's just not cohesive. I gotcha.
Yeah, right. Versus if I think of a cool lyric, or Ben has some cool riff or guitar part he came up with, and we're like, oh, cool, let's try and see what happens with this.
Yeah.
It's more organic, kind of natural thing,
right.
And that's still how we kind of approach songwriting.
Yeah.
And even though sometimes some of our songs might come out that sound kind of similar, but that's just because that's how it comes out.
Yeah. So you guys write all your songs together, it sounds like.
A lot of the time, yeah. Either it'll start with lyrics and then we'll flesh it out, or it'll start with chords and then the horns will put like a horn line on top of it. Or we have a couple songs that started out as just a horn line, and it's just kind of we all put in different pieces and it turns into the songs we play.
Sure,
a lot of starting in this room, just me and Mario just hacking away at stuff, and then we'll take it to the rehearsal studio and throw everybody else on. So
yeah, like we like to demo out songs too. Like if I have an idea, I might record it and then bring it to Ben and be like, hey, let's work on this, and then we'll get together and record a demo, and then send it to the band. Or sometimes another member will like text something. We have a group text going, and so Edgar the other day sent us like this horn line he came up with, and then we're like, oh cool, like let's see what we can do with that.
Yeah. Wow, so you guys, it sounds like you guys do a lot of stuff just like on the fly when you just are like, inspired, and that's awesome because I've always said that, it's a really DIY industry, and one of the things that's awesome is that you have a cell phone or a laptop with you at all times now, so you're just able to, put ideas down. Tell me what tools of the trade you guys use to send each other ideas. Do you guys have GarageBand on your iPhone? You guys got a little tape recorder that you send carrier pigeons with, or what is it?
Pigeons are the number one service.
Hey, it's the cheapest according to Game of Thrones, but you do run the risk of a lot of them getting shot down by opposing armies, apparently.
Right.
Don't have that issue too much here.
No. A lot of times we'll just use our phones to point it at a keyboard to actually record us playing something in and just send it into the group chat. Sometimes we'll actually put it into a software so we have it in MIDI, and then we can shoot that around back and forth.
Yeah, like sometimes, Ben and I both have recording setups, and so like we record stuff, I guess, more. Like I run on Pro Tools, Ben has a Studio One.
Okay, so you guys are actually using the DAW, you're on the DAW scene then. That's cool, I dig that.
Totally, and even sometimes if I come up with a horn line, and I'm like, oh cool, I totally have this horn line. Sometimes I'll just write it out, again, do a demo like in Pro Tools, and then print out music.
Yeah.
And then rehearsal, and
we complain about it a lot.
Yeah, they complain about it. Change it up and rewrite it.
Too many sharps.
I've always said that you have to know how to use like at least one DAW, because if you don't, then you're just gonna it's like being an artist who doesn't have like a canvas to paint on. You're just never you're gonna be describing like how cool your ideas are until like you're blue in the face, but you're never gonna have an actual product. Everybody has to at least have at least a tape recorder, at least something. But it's the 21st century. There's no excuses. Apple has a million products that are affordable. I'm not paid by Apple. I always swear to God when I talk about products on this show, I say shit like that. But I am not paid by Apple. But my point is the 21st century has cool tools in order to put your ideas down, share them with people, and share them with your bandmates. And what's even cooler nowadays is, I heard that for example, Linkin Park, when they got started, they were just shooting files back and forth over services. Now they have entire services where you can even do band practice with other people on the other end of the world, for God's sakes. There's no excuse, kids. Get together with the people you know and make music. So let me use that as a segue, actually. I'm sorry, what were you guys going to say?
I was going to say we need to look into that because these late night band practices are terrible.
Yeah. I got some. I was at the ASCAP Expo last week, and I just randomly got tickets through school for that. And somebody gave me a flyer for one of their streaming services where they, you set up a camera, and if you have a pretty high def microphone with it, then you can just practice over the web. Pretty much was the whole idea of it. And, anybody who lives far apart from each other who has to make a music situation work, obviously this would save some of those band practices where the tire blows or something like that. Now there's no excuse, you know what I mean? Yeah. Your internet sucks. Uh-oh, that's definitely not good. What do you mean your internet sucks? Everybody has, cable in their area now.
No, that's just going to be our new excuse.
His new excuse. Sorry. I thought you were saying your internet literally sucked. I was like, whose internet sucks nowadays? Except for mine, apparently. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and segue to the song here. We have a few different tracks right now, but I think that since we were talking about the Mud Hippie song, I think that's the most appropriate first one to play a clip from. Why don't you guys set this up for us really quick?
Yeah.
Well,
it's by the Appalachian Dude. It's the old lead singer.
So this is a song we've been playing for a while. It's on the new EP, Almost a Six Pack. Plug for the EP, comes out on the 26th, which is Wednesday. It's going to be available iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all that stuff. We'll have it, links on our Facebook and all that. But yeah, so here's the song. Here's a clip of the song.
Clip of the song Mud Hippie. All right, let's pull that song up, and you can buy that album coming up soon, guys. It's on a Wednesday, so I guess you'll have to wait till after work or, until the post office closes or whatever your excuse is. And then get down to your record store. How many record stores is that going to be available in, by the way? Are you guys putting it up on iTunes? Can you buy it in stores? Is it available anywhere?
Stores at the moment. It's just online and then at our shows.
Cool.
We already have a merch page up on our website pretty soon. And so if you're far away and you want to buy it, you can buy it through that and we'll mail it to you.
Yeah.
But the best thing is our shows if you want the hard copy. Otherwise, you can check out the digital version.
Absolutely, yeah. I was just curious because you guys had a physical copy right there, and I thought that was pretty awesome. I always like to have that record in my hand, so maybe I'll be one of the guys who writes for a copy of it to be mailed. Let's go ahead and play Mud Hippie here for the audience. This is Mud Hippie, inspired by the old lead singer who climbed the Appalachians, right here on Crimson Media Radio.
I wanna be a mud, I wanna be a mud, I wanna be a mud hippie.
Millions of albums.
All right, and we're back on Crimson Media Radio. That was Mud Hippie by the Necked Giraffes, and this is coming off of their debut album, which they were just telling me they have a show coming up for to promote this glorious debut. Why don't you tell the audience just a little bit about it, at least the highlights. It's at a brewery, which is very appropriate for a almost a six-pack album.
Yeah, we're going to be playing on May 5th, which is Cinco de Mayo, Brew Rebellion in San Bernardino. We're going to have our friends, the Bell City Players, going to be opening up the show with us. And, that's the hard copy release, so if you want to get a copy, you can check it out there. We're going to be selling these awesome beer glasses as well, which are brand new.
That's what those are. Those are official beer glasses of the Necked Giraffes.
That's right.
Yes. Shaped like the pictures on the EP there.
That's right.
It's all matching.
So you get the matching set. You don't have to worry about going out in unfashionable sense. These things will coordinate, and they will look good with hopefully whatever blue tie you're wearing out that night.
Right, yes. They're color coordinated with our shirts. We got it all. Look bad in public.
Yeah, that's cool that you guys have that kind of merch thing going, because honestly, I've always said that one of the easiest things to get going is the merch game, because there's so many websites, there's so many services where you can just get your logo slapped on something, and I guarantee somebody's going to want to buy it, especially if they even halfway enjoy your band.
Yeah, I mean, that's, what's kind of unfortunate. You see some bands that just don't have any merch at all, and, you're missing out on, it's basically free promotion, and, it's cool. I mean, these are awesome, right?
Yeah, I love them. That's why I just pointed it out. They're fucking awesome, man.
Well, it's cool. I mean, I know when I go to a show, I like to support the band by buying a T-shirt or a CD.
Yeah.
And so it's always cool. It makes you feel good, like you're helping your favorite band out.
Supporting the scene.
Yeah. Support the scene, and then you get something cool out of it, that you can use.
Yeah, and the other thing is that a lot of merch nowadays is really expensive. I went to the John 5 concert recently, and I spent $40 on a T-shirt.
Jeez. Yeah, ours $10.
Yeah. We
Okay.
stay at $10. We try to stay at $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great shirt. I mean, I loved it, but you know what I mean? If I could even just get some people don't have $40 to spend. Some people they want to there's tiers that they're willing to buy. So if you can get them at button, sticker, mug, T-shirt, all of the above plus the album, that's the real win right there. You can give your merch team that goal. If you all do that, we're taking you out to Pizza Hut.
There you go. Exactly.
We're gonna start selling cards with our logo on them soon.
Yeah, there we go. The Necked Giraffes cards. At least you know that they'll fit in the tunnels.
Right.
Yeah. So you guys got a great merch game, and that's important. I wanted to point that out to all of our listeners. The merch game is very, very important. Make sure that you guys take advantage of all these websites that they're doing. What website do you guys, or do you have an actual in-person service that you use to do your merching?
We're a little bit all over. We have a local guy that does all of our shirts for us and buttons. Specialty things like EP, glasses, we're ordering online from different companies.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one website that I was looking at. What was it? They did like a bunch of video game shirts and stuff like that, but it's just like a great, cool website where Redbubble. That's it. You ever heard of that one? Okay, check it out. Yeah, Redbubble. Once again, I'm not being paid by anybody, ladies and gentlemen. This is just me sharing information. Redbubble.com. Actually, you can make like T-shirts, mugs, like pretty much everything, and they make it on demand as soon as people order it. So you really don't have to like order inventory or anything like that. They just, as soon as somebody wants your mug or your shirt or your poster, they find a high-quality service to make that at cost, and you choose the price.
Oh, pretty awesome.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean, I try my best with merch to get it from local guys because I figure we got artists out here that their art is making shirts or whatever. So
no, that's much better with your guys' case. I mean, there's like different ways to attack it, but like when you guys build relationships in your community, that's also important. Like I'm just saying Redbubble in case people don't have anywhere to start. But honestly, like if you have a shirt guy, I would stick with the shirt guy because it's much better to have a community where it's a reliable face that like actually you can depend on and stuff like that. It's much better to do it that way.
Cool when you can actually like drive to that guy and see him in person with your stuff. Hand it to you.
Yeah, you don't just get to write an angry email in case it went bad. Hey, you son of a bitch. Yeah, so that's a little bit better anyways. Yeah, so that's cool that you guys have an actual T-shirt guy. And then when you guys were printing the record too, do you guys have a record guy? Like how deep does this rabbit hole go?
Well, it's funny. So we were kind of looking online because we didn't really know anyone at the time. And so we ended up going with disc makers because we heard about.
Yeah, I know about disc makers. I actually published a few Crimson Media artists when the radio show was originally a record label a few years ago, and I published a few of my artists with disc makers. They did really good stuff.
Yeah, they did a good job. But what's funny is right after we actually got the pressing, I was talking to one of my buddies, and he turned me on to this other local guy that does them for like a third of the price.
Oh no!
that just did an album and like the artwork. I mean, everything looks fantastic. And so we're going to be going to him for the next round.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting because you can get some pretty decent home gear for that.
Yeah. Disc makers was great. We're very happy, but local guy, cheaper, no shipping. Great.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't really beat that. I mean, as a matter of fact, hold on. Let's hope that this doesn't go too terribly wrong. You see that right there? See that right there? That blue light, that's my own disc publisher right there. It's actually pretty decent.
We're calling you up.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I'll start doing some disc publishing in the later dates. I go to MI right now, Musicians Institute, and all my teachers are telling me that it's a dead form. But I don't know. I mean, people still buy records at the shows.
Yeah. It's more like, I mean, that's why we're doing the whole online thing, because that's where most people listen to music now.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, like, real fans like to hold something at least, right?
It's something, again, going back to the merch thing, like if it's something, someone wants to buy something from the show, this is $5, and you get to take it home. If you have a player in your car, you can put it in your car.
That's exactly it. I always tell people, hey, they still have CD players in their cars,
It doesn't.
Yeah, my car is like overflowing with CDs because I just love CDs.
Do you have a tape deck in your car?
What was that?
Do you have a tape deck in your car?
I do not.
I have nothing. Mine just has the aux cord, no tape player. It's terrible.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? Aux cables are, I guess, useful, although even Apple's cutting you off with that one now.
Yeah, I know. I got the iPhone 7. It doesn't plug into my car. I have to do
Man, you have long, silent drives, don't you, my friend?
It's getting rough.
You got to get a friend to sit in the passenger seat and sing to you. Although hopefully Mario does that here. Yeah, hey, friend. What are friends for after all? So let me ask you guys. Just an email. I need to turn these email sounds off when I do these interviews. Very unprofessional. So anyways, I was gonna ask. In the IE, I knew a lot of punk bands. Like for example, I'm friends with a band called Zero to Hero. I don't know if you know them at all, but they're also from Rancho Cucamonga. They're a pop punk band. But as far as the ska scene is concerned, I have only met a handful of ska bands that I really thought were like great. Do you guys have an easy time finding a lot of bands in the IE who you get to play with? Do lots of big bills with?
A lot of the bands that sound more like us for ska are out in Orange County.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Yeah, they got more of a Latin style out in the IE. So
Yeah, that's...
county, everybody's in love with Real Big Fish and Suburban Legends and all the OC bands. So.
Yeah, Suburban Legends too. That's the other band I used to dig as a kid. I saw them at Disneyland a few times.
Everyone has.
Yeah, and it was cool because like they just played in downtown Disney at the local stage. Like all the kids who were like there to see them were all like skanking and stuff. It was great. And yeah, you know, it's like really the OC scene was really when ska. That's the most definitive ska scene in my mind that I ever got to be a part of. So you guys mostly travel down to OC and you get to like meet some of the bands down there. It sounds like. Do they ever come out to the IE too?
Yeah, I mean, there's, Riverside is kind of the other happening scene in the IE.
Yeah.
Like the B Sharps, I don't know if you heard of them, but we played with them a few times. And
I haven't heard the B Sharps yet.
Yeah, they sound pretty similar to us, I'd say.
Yeah,
we used to play with them a lot.
Yeah, but it's really like you were saying, the Latin ska scene is like really big. In LA too, but out in the IE, a lot. And so we get on some of the shows sometimes, but people usually like it because it's kind of a different pace. Totally like different, almost a different genre.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the biggest thing. So for us, like as far as getting together ska shows to play on, which usually we have a little more luck out in Orange County.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense, like I said, when I think about it, because every ska band that I've ever heard has basically been from Orange County. But, yeah, the other cool thing about that, though, is that you guys, like, when you get to play, like, in such a cool scene like that, like I said, you can kind of go play pop punk, you can play with, like, a bunch of other bands like that. Have you ever played with any bands that are just, like, totally different from you?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've done shows.
Please describe.
We've done some shows with metal bands.
Oh, that's what I was hoping to hear.
Yeah, that's
a bunch of hardcore and ska-core bands.
Yeah.
So it's us and then like a bunch of people screaming with like upbeat guitar. So,
lots of minor chords going on, and then we show up just dancing in bright colors like idiots.
Yeah. So do you guys get street cred for showing up at those shows? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, they usually love that we show up. I don't think we've ever had a show where people didn't like us. We definitely had shows where we show up and like everybody there is just like tattoos on their face and like tons of piercings and giant mohawks, and they're there for a metal show, and then we get up, they're like, huh, well that wasn't metal, but you guys sound pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's not an expected reaction from somebody who looks like they were a character from Fallout 4.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I love that because I think people give you street cred for honestly stepping outside of your comfort zone,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we just love playing, so we'll pretty much play anything. Like, we've played some super sketchy backyard shows that are like hardcore shows.
Oh, yeah. But those are necessary. Those like test your brass as a band.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We just
especially if someone tries to get in a fight with you, Adam.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We just did a show where we were a ska band, and then another act was just like a guy with a guitar, and then there was a rapper, and then we had like a funk fusion jazz band, like all in the same show. That was a weird show.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, that is a very eclectic show, it sounds like.
Yeah,
we set that one up.
Oh, so you guys set that bill up. You guys were just like, yep, you're in. You know what? You're all in, motherfuckers. That's
like, your instrument, come play.
Right, if it's music, then fucking somebody told me today, and it made perfect sense. They were like, a good song can be played on every instrument.
Oh yeah, I've heard like the dudes from Bad Religion talk about that too. Like, any song, if it's a good song, you can sit down and play it on piano, on guitar, on whatever. But a good song is a good song.
Yeah, and I don't entirely agree with that because I've heard like some metal songs that are super bitchin' that are just like chug chug chug, and if you played that on piano, it just go darn 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 darn, like. But so certain instruments lend themselves certain things, obviously. But that's what's cool about you guys getting to step out of your comfort zone and play with metal bands is because metalheads, they appreciate melody. They appreciate, like a good line. They appreciate music, You guys are talented, and they see that. Especially if you guys are also being a band that they weren't expecting at all. They're probably also like, these motherfuckers.
Right. Yeah. We usually get that, like, when people see us, and it's one of those shows like that, they're like, all right, what are these guys? What's their deal? And then they come, they're like, oh my God, that was awesome.
Right.
Exactly. Like I said, you exceeded their expectations, and managing expectations is a very important thing in this industry. So let's go ahead and set up one more of your guys' songs here, because I think that we had about 4 that you guys sent me, and I want to make sure that I get through them. I think that the song "Cool Kids" looks pretty decent, right? You guys had a song called "Cool Kids" on this list. What's that song's deal?
So that one, I guess, how do you
Kind of
start
your
that one?
sister,
Sort of like the. That was one of the songs where we kind of just started with this little riff that I think I played, and then we're like, oh, that would sound really cool with the horns, and then we kind of formed all the music together. I kind of brought the lyrics, except the sister, because like she was in high school at the time and into that whole trying to fit in with everyone.
Yeah,
And that's kind of how it starts. You know?
303.
Yeah, I was just like, I hate that.
That's a hell of a story behind that one.
Yeah, and then it kind of brought me back to high school, like just that whole like idea of,
trying to fit in
and like how it sucks.
Yeah, and going back to Cal State San Bernardino was like going back to high school all over again, in my opinion.
Yeah. High school reunion.
High school, and it pretty much was a high school reunion. It was like everybody who I went to high school with at that place. That's very true. That's very true. All right, so everybody at home, remember the days when you were trying to be one of the cool kids? It could still be right now. I don't know. I'm an old fuck. What do I know? But all you high schoolers who are listening to this, remember the words of our friends, the Short Necked Giraffes, and remember that being one of the cool kids is a relative term, because you're probably a badass. Maybe not, though. What do I know? This is the Cool Kids sample right here on Crimson Media Radio.
One of the cool kids. 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 All the cool kids, we go to the show. I think the band sucks, but I still wanna go. All the cool kids, they're all gonna be there. I better get up, go out and do my hair. I'll put on my skinny jeans and listen to 303 'cause I want to be.
And that was the Cool Kids on Crimson Media Radio, and we are talking with the Short Necked Giraffes. They were actually telling me about the breweries that they play at, including the one where they're going to be doing the album release party. Do you guys play at any other breweries, or is that the main one?
Yeah, we've also played at Hangar 24.
Yeah, I know Hangar 24. I've gotten very drunk there.
Yeah, that's the place to do it.
No, we used to go, when we go to downtown Redlands, we'd go to Hangar 24 first until it closed at 10 p.m. We go pregame in, drink like IPA after double. Actually, they had double IPAs there. That's why I got so drunk at that place. Jesus. Yeah, that stuff was potent. So, you just get schlammered, and then you just go to downtown Redlands. You get to hang out at, I don't know, the Redlands Underground, the Volts, Charlie Jules, stuff like that. Yeah, so Hangar 24, and I've actually never seen a show there. Is that a pretty interesting venue to get to play at?
Yeah, it's a cool place. They set up they have a little loading dock. Yeah, the loading dock is the stage.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
As far as brewery venues we played at, probably the most space we've had to actually set up, which is nice when you're a ska band because there's like a million of us compared to a smaller band.
Yeah.
Pieces for that gig.
Yeah.
Did you guys? What about back in the day? You guys have been playing shows for how long now?
2005.
Oh, dang. So you guys have been a band for a while now. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
These guys have been forever. I just started, I think, 7 years ago, but that's still a long time.
So my question is relevant then. Have you guys ever played at the Showcase Theater when it was still open?
No.
Oh, okay. I always ask that, because 2005 was that was the year, you know what I mean? That was when Showcase Theater did it, and 2 years later it shut down. So that's always my test. I'm like, did you guys play at the Showcase?
2005 was a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And that was a very terrible bar.
How terrible are we talking about? Are we talking about Roadhouse terrible?
Yeah, we're talking I believe there were 3 people actually just there for the bar, and I think they were all over 60 years old, just drinking themselves to death.
Yep. I've played that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think the worst bar show we played though was that one up in Apple Valley.
Oh God.
Where like
Apple Valley, enough said. No, I'm just kidding. People from Apple Valley, I'm just kidding.
it was like a total dive bar, and like
It was
after,
a quarter-mile dirt road off of a like a sketchy highway
yeah, I
to
was
get to it.
middle of nowhere, and like I think halfway through the set, someone chucked like a beer pitcher at us.
Ah, yes.
You ask Siri how to get there, and she's like, "Fuck if I know."
Yeah.
Dang, yeah. So you guys played in front of 3 drunken old people, and then they were actually were they pretty receptive to your music, or?
I don't know if they were conscious enough to know what was going on.
Touche. You know, that's usually a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people who day drink at 60 probably aren't gonna make it.
Probably not.
Yep, and I'm gonna be one of them. No, I'm just kidding. So you guys have been playing lots of breweries, bars. Inland Empire has a lot of those. That's why I ask. And there's also this one place. You know, there's just so many breweries that are opening up. My friend Vince opened up one down in Riverside, I believe, right around the Corona area.
Yeah. Brew Crew is bomb.
Yeah, that's a cool place.
Yeah, that's a really cool place.
Brew Crew, huh? That sounds pretty official.
It's basically, it's kind of like a bunch of microbreweries that all came together. So if you go there, it's one building with like 5 breweries inside of it.
So it's like a collective.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they have a few of their popular beers they usually have, but then they're always coming up with new stuff, so it's like constantly rotating.
Yeah, and they do really weird stuff because they make really small batches. So for an IPA guy like you, they've got a dill IPA that I had there last time.
A dill IPA.
Yes, and it doesn't sound like it's going to work, but it's actually...
Does it taste like pickle juice?
I don't know if I should say yes or no. It's an experience.
All right, you know what? I'm just going to keep an open mind. Dill
Yeah.
IPA, all right.
More technical, does it taste like a pickle back? Now
All
it's not pickle juice, it's got a pretty name.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
right, I've had picklebacks before. I guess I can stomach those, I guess.
Never had a pickleback? Come on.
No, man, I hate pickles, dude.
You know, if you don't like pickle, there's not much you can do about it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got pickle in the name. You know, I've got to ask now that we're talking about drinking a little bit. I got to know, what is your guys' poison of choice? I want to know what is your guys' favorite beer? You can go from left to right if you want.
Okay. My favorite beer of all time is the 2009 Vertical Epic. Which you can't find.
Epic.
Vertical Epic was a series that Stone did where they did one beer every year.
Yeah.
So 111, 222, 333, and the 09 was, you know, September 9th, 2009.
Right.
That beer was amazing, but I've only had it once. You know, obviously years ago, but
It disappeared after it had ran its run, right?
right, yeah. Someone's got it in a cellar somewhere that he's selling it for like $500 right now.
God, that sounds good.
And, I'm really partial to stouts. I like stouts a lot. So Victory at Sea, the Victory at Sea series from Point are some of my favorites. Obviously, Brew Rebellion. Right. Yeah, their beers are always cool. You go there, they do really goofy stuff. Like I said, these wax seals have like little bits of cereal stuck in them.
Oh
so,
yeah, look at that! I thought that was just a shredded. Saran for the top.
No, cereal.
Actual wax.
Good for them. Good for them. That's interesting. Cool. What about you, buddy? What's your favorite?
All right, so if you can't tell, Corey's kind of the beer connoisseur. I just like to drink.
Yeah. So Corey's the beer connoisseur, and Mario just likes to drink.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of stouts. You know, like Guinness is kind of my go-to all the time.
Yeah. Okay, you like Guinness. I get that because that's more of a bready beer, so to speak.
Yeah, but anything kind of on the darker side is kind of my taste.
All right, cool. Is it because you like the taste or because you like to get drunk faster?
Both.
Man after my own heart. Excellent. And finally, you good sir with the green tie, what is your liquor of choice?
I'm a little all over the place. I actually work as a chef, so I'm always trying, like, if I go to a brewery, it's like, what's their funky thing that they have? Like that dill beer, I'll totally try that. If it sounds really off, I'm going to go for it, just experience it and see what's going on.
Okay, you're a chef, huh? So you have a little bit of experience in the restaurant biz. You get this drinking thing.
Yeah, I like these meal beers, and it's like, yeah, that's the flavor going on.
Yeah, that's what I used to tell people. Beer is for breakfast around here.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So that's cool. I mean, by the way, you were working at a restaurant. Which restaurant did you work at, or do you currently work? You don't need to name a name if you currently work at it, but if you have, if you've been involved in the bar scene, restaurant scene, what was your experience with that?
A lot of crazy hours that really interfere with playing in a band. These guys hate my career.
Well, you know what? It does bring a lot of money when you're working in the restaurant business. I mean, that's one thing that I did like about it.
Yeah, it's nice. You can pay some bills pretty easily there.
But you have to work your ass off in that business. That is not anything for sore feet. That's what I'll tell you.
Telling me, we just did it Easter Sunday. We had 500 reservations for breakfast. Dude.
Nice. Yes, I remember back when I worked those Easter Sundays, or like Mother's Day or Father's Day or any of those. That'll test your merit in the restaurant biz, that's for sure. All right, cool. So we got the beer under the belt, so to speak, and everybody needs to try this Rebel Brew House because honestly, it sounds like amazing stuff, and it sounds like it's a really cool environment going on there. Now, when you guys go out to Orange County, though, do you guys ever play at brew houses out there? Is there anything pretty decent?
So far, we've been ending up at the Slide Bar in Fullerton.
Yeah, I know the Slide Bar. Yeah.
Yeah, so they usually do like ska nights on Tuesdays. We'll go play with like Parade for our side, 2:30.
Have you heard of the Doll Hut?
Yeah.
We played there I guess it was about a year ago.
Yeah, something like that. That's actually like right down the street from where we are right now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I was just curious because the Doll Hut is actually one of those spots where I had some of the cheapest and most disgusting beer of my life, but it was actually a fun show to play at.
Yep. Yeah. That was also our experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's a small place. It's kind of a shanty place, but I mean, but that's what they're kind of going for, you know? They want to have, like, that small-timer bar with, like, the dim lights, the dank smoke. I mean, I don't mean dank smoke like it just, like, hovered in the air. I mean, it smelled like dank in there.
Yeah. They've actually had some pretty legitimate bands through there, though.
Yeah, no kidding. I've seen, like, lots of big names go through, like, all these big metal acts and stuff. What's that all about?
Yeah, I think I saw... Was it Social D played there or something?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't Social D that I think I saw on there, but it was like a name comparable to Social D. It was like way bigger than what I was expecting at the Doll Hut.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of history there. Like all the Orange County bands, like we're talking about, basically started there. Like I know, No Doubt played there, The Offspring, Sublime, all the old '90s ska punk bands used to play there, so it's got history.
That I didn't know. I did not know The Offspring played there, and I did not know that No Doubt played there. Wow, that place has much more history than I even knew. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, check out the Doll Hut. Apparently it was ground zero for a lot of great stuff in the ska scene. Yeah, and speaking of which, and I don't want to digress too much because I want to get through all your clips here, we have two more clips, actually, it looks like. We have one called Only One, that's the third one on the list here. What's Only One's deal? Did you guys write that song about your one and only, or what's that about?
X one and only.
Only one and only,
It started as, that was Ska Song 2 was the original title.
Oh, wait, hold up. I just saw your socks, brother. Go ahead and hold those up just really quick.
Yeah, sorry, I got way too much.
That's what I'm talking about. One more time. Sorry, I got the camera on them now.
No shoes today, I'm sorry.
Those are some pimp socks, dude. I gotta say, those are some pimp socks. Match the tie.
Yes, socks do match the tie.
Same shade, the hat's over there. We got it all.
But you better have yellow socks on, Mario.
No, but I got black socks on. That's halfway there, right?
You're leaving your brother hanging in the sock coordination game here.
Yeah. The man on that end. I'm not even wearing socks.
Yeah, me neither, actually. I'm going barefoot right now. Oops. So this one's called Only One, and you guys, what's this one about, anyways?
So it started off being a Ska Song 2, literally the second ska song that we wrote. I believe it kept that title for maybe 2-3 years.
Yeah, this one, like I wrote the horn line like a long time ago in GarageBand.
Oh, okay, dang. GarageBand does have a horn section on it. That's true.
Yeah, it's like Ska Song 2, and then I kind of shelved it, and then like somehow it came up. I think I was playing stuff for you guys, or
No, that was the night that we decided we were going to turn it into a ska band.
That's
Like,
right,
oh,
right.
hey, I have this song.
yeah, we just kind of started working on it, and then yeah, kind of everyone loved it, so we got the form down and everything. Then I started writing lyrics about my girlfriend at the time, and then
The one and only.
the one of those, yeah.
No, that's great, dude. I mean, girls inspire a lot of songs. That's true.
Yeah, totally. But it's funny, the song, so when we recorded this, she hadn't heard the song yet. And I was like, oh, I'm going to like show it to her, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I played it to her, and that was the night she was like, oh, sorry, I don't love you anymore.
Oh, dang. That's a slaughter right there. That's almost as bad as that one guy who proposed to his girlfriend on the kiss cam and she said no.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, dang, dude. But you know what? That's a great story for that song right there.
Like, I don't want this on the album anymore. Like, forget it. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is an awesome song. And so now we're stuck with it forever.
So now we sing it every show.
Yeah, every show I get to relive it.
That's an amazing story. I'm so glad you guys are telling this story right now because I've been waiting for this exact story to be illustrated the way that you just said it. I've always said that, like, people are like, oh, isn't it amazing how songs are like journals? I'm like, yeah, but journals can be painful. You know, you ever think about a fact that you, like, wrote a song about someone who you fell in love with at the time and now you got to keep singing that song for the rest of your career even though you're not in love with that person anymore?
Totally.
Yeah, I have talked about this phenomenon, but I've never seen anybody illustrate it. We're going a little bit off on this one, but yeah, you know, Only One is about, god damn, that's crazy. It's about a girl who he's not in love with anymore, and he has to keep on singing that song. My goodness. You know, so that's a great story. Let's go ahead and play this song. Keep that in mind, everybody. This is Only One by the Necked Giraffes here on Crimson Media Radio.
You're the one for me, and I'm yours for her.
All right, and that was Only One, a clip from the Necked Giraffes. They were once again telling me about their show on Drinko de Mayo coming up on May 5th. And yeah, that's going to be a great one, Rebel Brew House. And there will be food there, as they mentioned to me. They promised.
Tacos.
No, you don't. They don't have to promise punch or pie or anything.
Right.
Desserts.
No
We
turkey
will
dinners.
promise lots of beer and
Definitely
tacos.
Beer and tacos. For Cinco de Mayo, it doesn't get much better than that. Why don't you hold up that bottle one more time so we can show the audience what you guys are currently working on?
Oh, this guy right here. This is the King Banana and Peanut Butter Stout.
Banana and peanut butter stout, huh?
Yeah.
Dang.
No.
No, I can see that. That's like a banana and a Komodo or like one of those geese, right?
It's an Elvis banana.
Oh, it's an Elvis banana. I thought he was in karate gear. That's what I was seeing.
So
Elvis, karate gear, same thing.
Elvis knew karate.
yeah.
Sounds like history to me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Elvis's favorite sandwich was a deep fried peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Yeah, I heard that.
So this is a peanut butter and banana beer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a glass sandwich. So
It's a glass sandwich. Jeez. Yeah, honestly, that sounds kind of interesting. A peanut butter and banana beer. Does that actually like taste like peanut butters or bananas at all?
yes, both of those things.
Both of those things. And it gets you drunk. That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
smell is intense.
It's like a peanut butter banana milkshake that gets you drunk.
You know what? That's like my favorite thing in the entire world. So that sounds like my new beer.
Yes.
Yep, glad we, like I said, you learn lots of things about life, especially in the beer category when talking to the Necked Giraffes, apparently. So yeah, one of the things I wanted to finish up on, looks like we're coming at the end of the hour here, but I wanted to touch up on some of the shows that are coming up for the band so that nobody misses any of your other shows besides Drinko de Mayo. What else do you guys have coming up on the horizon?
I think that's all we have lined up right now.
Yeah, okay. Well, what's the plans for the band then? Help me out here. What are you guys doing in the future? Are you guys there?
We got this lovely email address. It's booking We have no shows booked, but
Right now, there's kind of a pipe dream where we're thinking of maybe doing a mini tour kind of up the coast sometime this summer. We're still trying to work that out, what venues we'd be playing at, making sure everyone can get their schedules all put together so we can do at least a good 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we've just been like, recently we've been pretty much focusing all our efforts on this release. And so we're kind of like neglected the whole shows thing.
yeah, preparing for the record so that you have something to show everybody by the time you're getting off stage.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking to a few promoters right now about lineups and stuff in the IE and hopefully Orange County as well. So stay tuned. You can follow us on Facebook or check out our website, and we're gonna have stuff coming up there. But the very next thing, actually, before the release show, is the listening party for the EP, which is going to be on Wednesday, the 26th. So we're going to do like a Facebook Live podcast where, people can tune in, and we're going to play the whole thing because that's like the digital release. And so we'll play the whole thing for everyone, kind of talk about the stories behind the songs like we've done here.
Yeah.
And drink a lot.
Drink a lot also.
Just go ahead and set up and talk like what we're doing now. I love it.
yeah,
And then at the
we'll be
end-
drinking double, so
Yeah, we'll be drinking a lot that day.
So stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen.
maybe a fisheye lens so you can see the ground as well. We'll get there.
That's right.
So everybody can see the socks, of course, because that's very, very important in your group, apparently.
Yes.
Cool. So you guys are going to go ahead and do that on the Wednesday. Going to be streaming over there at the Necked Giraffes. And do you guys have a .com? What's your official website there?
Yeah, we do. The shortneckdrafts.com.
Shortneckgiraffes.com. There it is. Simple enough. They're also on the Twitter. It's just at the Necked Giraffes, I believe.
At SNG, I believe.
SNG Ska.
SNG Ska.
And the same thing on Instagram at SNG Ska.
SNG Ska on Instagram and and on the Twitter. I don't know why I always forget Twitter because I'm Danish and so I want to say Twitter. yeah. But so you can go ahead and check them out there at both of those spots and check them out at their main website. Also look them up on Facebook, the Necked Giraffes. They have a very good page. Go ahead and give them a like, especially if you follow Crimson Media. If you are not following them already, what the hell is wrong with you, son? Go ahead and get on that. Necked Giraffes, thank you very much for spending some time talking with Crimson Media today. Looks like we have one last clip to send you guys off with, and this one is called My Friend's Band.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's, you want to give a send-off note for My Friend's Band? What's this one about?
This one is another quite literal story.
Just in your face, it's about our
You guys
friends.
are like the Eagles. You're just telling stories constantly.
Pretty much. I think this was probably another one of the early first ska songs we wrote together.
Yeah.
And this was about our friend.
And we are back on Crimson Media Radio talking to the band. All right, so actually I'm going to go ahead and pull that up really quick here because by the time we had done that interview, then we had not gotten the chance to put that one into the session quite yet. So let me go ahead and show you guys this one. This one's called My Friend's Band, and it's by our friends from the interview today. I hope you guys like that, by the way. It's a really, really good interview. Here's My Friend's Band, and we are playing it right now live on Crimson Media Radio.
My friend's band is really freaking cool. They sell out all their shows, get played on the radio. My friend's band rocks really freaking hard. They jump around on stage, they get paid and they get laid.
And that's My Friend's Band. Yeah, so we mostly had clips tonight just because, they wanted to keep some of the suspense for the live album coming up. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was the live interview with the Necked Giraffes. We are going to do a send-off note really quick because something really hilarious happened. While I was looking at all of the comments, I realized that the ex-lead singer to one of my old bands, Raymundo, is listening in. Now, ordinarily, you'd think that this would be a good thing, but unfortunately, this guy has gone off the deep end. When he had quit the band that we were in, from that point on, he had moved on to do some other things, but mostly he had gone on to make some very, very bizarre accusations against me constantly in my career. He accused me of stealing speaker stands from him. He accused me of being a Jesuit, whatever the hell that means, and he's also accused me of being a Nazi. Yes, all these things are apparently very real in his mind, and he thinks that I stole his speaker stands, and he thinks that for some reason I'm in some sort of plot to assassinate the Christians, and I'm part of like some sort of Third Reich thing. So anyways, I just had to address him since I realized he is listening to this, and I saw some of his comments on here. Raymundo, my good dear friend, who we have shared many beers together with and shared many sets and songs with across our youthful years, get a goddamn life, you little bitch. No, seriously, go create your own show. Go ahead and make a show where you can go do your own shit, instead of just going and commenting on other people's, because that makes you look pathetic. When you have nothing better to do with your time than to go on somebody who you hate's Facebook page and continue to comment about things that make literally no sense, the only person that looks crazy is you. So I'm really happy that you got to write in, and I know that you're watching my face right now and you're actually listening to my voice. Go fuck yourself, you little bitch. That's it for Crimson Media Radio this week. Thank you for the Short Necked Giraffes for listening in. Thank you to all of the bands that wrote in as well. Thank you for Queen Mary's Revenge. Thank you for Natish. And thank you for Druid Magic, all for turning in great songs. And thank you for the Short Necked Giraffes for chatting with us and drinking a beer. We'll be back next week with the band #Yeah. They're driving out all the way from Arizona to come and sit down with us and talk. So it'll be a really great show. That'll be Crimson Media 008 next week. Once again, go ahead and send in all your songs. And if you have a Twitter, go ahead and shoot us a line at Crimson Media ENT. We will shoot a line right back at you. Thanks again, guys. This has been Crimson Media Radio. Another great week. Crimson Media Radio 007 signing off. Peace, suckers.